Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Happiness Retreat. I am your host, Kimberly Trebs, and today we have the good fortune to be in conversation with my dear friend and colleague, the beautiful and multi-talented Sonya Nagy, who is an intuitive alignment master and a coach slash trainer slash facilitator of soul communication and self restructuring, and the founder of Empower Your Life First. Hello, Sonya, and thank you for being here with us today.
Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for having me. It is quite a treat to be with you today. And just so you know, I am in North Carolina in my RV at an equestrian campground. So if my feed is a bit shaky, please forgive.
Your audio is perfect. Your feed is a bit shaky, but it's all good. And thank you for
Yes.
telling us. So, Sonya, as this conversation is all about spirituality, the soul, and becoming the master of your own energy, I am so very happy that you are here with us today to share about how being soul formed is a vehicle for transformation. So, Sonya, can you please tell us a little bit about your background, your education, and what prompted you to become interested in working with the soul?
So goes back all the way to childhood when I had a fall on the playground and I didn't walk for a couple of months. And shortly thereafter, as I got walking again, my intuition opened up and I could see and hear everything, it seemed. And I really didn't know how to manage that at 9 years old. So I didn't listen. I kind of avoided the information because I didn't even know how to share the information that was coming through. And so I went about my eagle life. Married, my first career was income tax and accounting, and the intuition was always there. And as a result of that fall and then car accidents at 16, I was put into chiropractic at 18 years old. However, it wasn't a standard chiropractic. It was a non-force chiropractic, really working with energy and energy aligning the body. So I came into it very by grace, I'll say, or by happenstance. And at 18 years old, I started receiving this non-force alignment treatment from the chiropractor, and it was magic. And I didn't even know that it was energy work at that time. However, when I realized, I jumped in and I learned as fast as I could. I mentored with the founder of the technique, and that was back 2006, so quite some time ago. So my orientation into the spirituality actually started with health and wholeness and a very holistic lifestyle. As I was managing life with 4 children, my accounting business, I also owned a commercial cleaning business and rental properties. So I was quite active, mother of 4. I don't know if I said that, but so life was very busy, and I always seemed to do very well because I was always in alignment. I went regularly for my energy alignment sessions so that I could manage life well. And, during tax season was my most stressful time. So I would have extra then to deal with the extra stress of life. However, because I stayed in alignment, life wasn't so stressful. And that has now led me all the way into many modalities of peace, wholeness, health, and now spirituality. So the soul, I've been working with the soul for the last 3 or 4 years. Finally have built myself as an intuitive alignment master, because that's what I've been doing all along and just never build myself that way. So that has brought me into working with soul and helping people to have that deeper communication with their soul and to allow their soul to be their first and main source of information.
Yeah, opposite of what we've been told. We've been told, right? Go to school, learn something, and, then just do that thing.
Yes, 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 yes. formed from the outside in. I help people to restructure themselves, to be formed from the soul, from the heart out, and allow that to be our main primary source of information.
Yeah. So because we've not, when I say we, mainstream education has not taught us to go to our own soul. What is actually even meant by being soul formed? How do you even get to the point where you have an alignment or a connection or a communication with your soul?
So for me, life became not enough, right? I had the American dream. I was married, kids, house, businesses. I had it all, but I still felt empty. And why I felt empty was because I was looking for this deeper connection to me and to my own soul, my own spirituality. So how do we begin that? We go into the heart. We get that deeper connection into the heart. And if you'd like, I'll take you through a little exercise. Would that
Yes,
be
please.
okay?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do this together. If you're driving, just caution. But hey, bring your awareness into your heart center and go deep into the infinite heart center and that purest of pure love, a love beyond any love that we probably know in our human form. And going into that heart center, maintain that awareness, and now bring your awareness to the earth and connect with Mother Earth and feel that heart connection, your heart connecting with the heart of the earth. Begin to feel your anchored purpose here through this heart to heart connection. And maintaining that, go up to your soul, the heart of heaven, if you'd like. And just breathe in and feel that connection to your physical heart, your connection to the earth, and the connection to that divine essence within you, your soul. And just breathe in and feel that. Feel that aligned connection, allowing every inhalation to amplify that connection, and just allowing all of that outside information to go with every exhalation. Letting go of the tension and the stress and the noise of the outside world, just releasing it with every exhale. So this is the simple start to that deeper connection to self and to conversations with the soul, and to allow the soul to actually restructure. So it is in this alignment that we begin to feel that. So thank you.
Thank you. That feels so yummy.
Right?
Let's just stay there and forget
Yeah.
everything else.
I look forward to a world that lives there. May that be so. And yes, and so it is. And I call forth every Wednesday night. I do this for free, and we'll get to that. I don't want to spoil the surprise in our interview, but we'll share more about that in a moment. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, that was lovely. Um, so I know that you've helped many clients, and I know that we're all people, right? So
Mhm.
we've all, at least, if we grew up in the same generation-ish, right? We've had very similar experiences. So can you tell us if there's any common roadblock or obstacle that most people seem to be dealing with and come to you for relief for?
So it's something that people don't necessarily know they even have, and it's self-acceptance. It's really soul acceptance. It's a much deeper version of that, and
Mm.
it's authenticity. It's authenticity that is unapologetically free, and it doesn't have to hide. There's no shame or blame or any of those interferences there. It's really a true freedom to be the truth of who you've come on earth to be. And a lot of people think they're authentic because they're doing what they've been informed to do. They've been informed of their gender, so they're acting out the role of their gender. They've been informed to their culture, so they're doing their cultural habits. They've been informed of their profession, so they're operating in these ways, these roles, and they're actually conforming their system to the outside world rather than to allow the authenticity of their own soul to inform them and allow that to emanate out of them and into the world and to be accepted in their whole self. And they will never have that acceptance of their whole self in that outside world. It comes from doing the interior work of going inward and connecting with that heart, earth, soul connection. So that's where they really find that freedom and full acceptance to be all that they've come to be. And self-acceptance is just the start, because in the self-acceptance then becomes the soul acceptance, and from the soul acceptance comes into the soul expression, and they get to have a much more fulfilled life, and they're not hiding.
Yeah. I mean, I know with each role, even from child to teenager, teenager to adult, um, adult graduating high school or college, right? Because you're quote unquote legal at that point, right? So then you get a job, and then you buy a house or you do whatever. And with each of these roles definitely comes a globally conscious, accepted, and expected behavior. So
Yes.
is that how we
Yes.
get down the rabbit hole to begin with?
Yes. And even more personal into your parents, and the beliefs and experiences that you have in your life, that you create the stories, you create the self-image of yourself based on the life experience that you will have. So it's yes, part of it is the time and that we're in life, but it's also the experiences, and how we interpret those experiences will create that structure of the self, right? But it's created on an outside world, on an experience outside of you, rather than your divine essence that has all of the power, has all of the answers, allowing that to come in and flow through. So yes, that's how it happens.
So I'm glad you talked about family, because, what about the layer of trying to make your family proud, or trying to, what about that whole layer? Because they have your best interest at heart, right? I mean, mostly. I mean, and they come from their experiences. Like, does it get handed down generationally, that this disconnect?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of it can be handed down. It can be in the cells. It is there
Mm,
because we've been coming, believe it or not, in the world that we're in. We've actually more enlightened now than we've been in a very, very long time. So there's a lot of cleaning up in our DNA that we're still doing. There's this evolution that we're going through into an expansion. So yes, there's a lot that is handed down, again, unconsciously, where it's just we're programmed in that 0 to 7. We pick up all of that information, we take it as an absolute truth until it doesn't work for us, until we start beating our head against the wall and we're not happy. And this is where addictions start coming in. So the family is doing the best they know, but they've been handed down a corrupt program in the sense of how to be truly happy in life. So the happiness, making somebody outside of you happy is a a a deficit.
yeah.
If you're not full yourself, you can't fill anybody else up. So to continue, it's a depletion model. That's what I was trying to say. It's a
Yes. Yes.
depletion model, right? So if you're trying to make somebody outside of you happy and you're not happy yourself, then you're operating in a negative right? There's not enough there to overflow. So this is where that allow it to overflow out of you. So you have to have it within you to allow it to overflow. And your happiness may not make them happy. And you know, we come here individually and we go out of here individually. And our primary source of care has to be for ourselves, and not in a selfish way. In the self, it's really in a selfless way of, I will make sure I'm full so that I can be resourceful for you, for your family, right? So that you can be there for them. Because if you're trying to make them happy, again, it's a deficit model. It's giving from an empty cup, and that doesn't last for long. That usually leads to disease.
Right. So then you touched upon how it could be cellular. And is that how your the energy work that you intuitively knew you needed this energy work starting at age 18, and then you intuitively knew you wanted to get into this? Is that the way to maintain and nourish and transform at a cellular level, that you can even get to your soul acceptance?
Yes, absolutely. So if we're a spiritual being having a physical experience, that means we were created out of a spirit before we had a physical form. So energy work really is working at that spiritual level, at that soul level, at the pure essence level, and saying we're going to shift it here so that the physical effects can get transformed. Now we have a mental body and we have an emotional body that also is impacting this physical body. There's a lot of science on all of that. I don't know that the science on spirituality is as available as it can be. There is a lot going on there now, more so than ever. But yes, so working at that spiritual level, we definitely can change the mass at the physical level. So yes, we can change that cellular, we can change that DNA. And we do it through this deeper connection to ourself, and through being the person that will fulfill life and be fulfilling towards life in all aspects.
So, when many people get to the point where they've been living the American dream, they wake up in the morning and to all outside appearances, they have the life, yet they know they need to change, they need to grow, they need to evolve, they need to tap into something that they don't quite have access to at the moment. I know a lot of people, they start tapping into the spirituality on the down low because they feel or fear that their family won't understand what they're doing. And honestly, it wasn't that many years ago that you said the word yoga or meditation in the United States and you would be called a hippie. So, how can you alleviate a little bit of that angst or anxiety? Because if you can't follow that path for yourself, how can you possibly be on the right path for yourself?
Hmm. Well, it's a choice. Really, it boils down to, you have to live with you 24/7, and prioritizing yourself and doing what you need to for your own system. And it could be at a survival level. If you've been so pleasing the outside world, there's a possibility that disease could exist there because you haven't been sourcing for yourself. You haven't been diligent into listening to your own spirit, because our spirit, our soul talks to all of us. It just talks in a very small whisper. And will we hear? Will we hear? So it's the invitation to go in, at least to go into your heart center and to begin to listen. And if that has to happen in the bathroom, in the shower, while you're on the toilet, in your own privacy, let it be so. Let yourself start to experience you and that deeper connection to you. And that exercise of just going into the heart center, feeling your purpose here on earth, feeling your connection, knowing that you've got a purpose. We've all come with a purpose. There are no accidents. no human is an accident. There are no accidents of life on this planet. And just knowing that and allowing that greater connection, even if it has to start behind closed doors initially, give yourself that much grace and that much honor, and allow your soul to inform you of how you share that with the world, with your family, with your friends, however that needs to be said. And it may not even matter if they call you a hippie or anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, so I'd love to talk about some of the actual modalities that you use because, there are so many. And just to get a flavor of what they are and what that particular modality or practice offers to your client, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I have several. So again, Wednesday night, we'll talk about that in a moment, but I do transmissions. So transmissions are like meditation. However, they are a transmission of a frequency that is from my soul to my client's soul, the group that I'm working with, their souls, if it's with a group. And your soul will inform your own system of what is appropriate for you. And this transmission allows these frequencies of wholeness. There's a lot of frequencies that I have available to transmit. So I have the cleaning your cash consciousness that I do the second Saturday of every month. It's a $27 where we go in and we do actually 11 transmissions. It's a 2.5-hour call that's recorded and with a group, and we work on clearing out all of these transmissions from the vitality code liberation, the abundance code liberations, these codes we have within our DNA, our prosperity code liberations, helping to clear out and clean out. Then there's a nervous system restoration, a money relationship restoration. So to help reboot the nervous system, help to reboot the consciousness that we have in association to cash. My first career was actually accounting. So 27 years, I have a very full capacity from the tangible with cash to now the spiritual with cash, and helping people to free their systems so that they can be liberated to allow that flow to come through. So there's that. The second Saturday of every month, we have the Cleaning Your Cash Consciousness call. And then we have Adventure to Your Self-Mastery. So this is a year-long program where I take people on a group on a weekly basis through first doing the clearing out work, a lot of transmissions through this. And then we do a communications piece, communication with ego and soul, and having those two recognize each other and have conversation, which becomes more tools of empowerment to the people. And then we go into the restructuring through many transmissions of clear consciousness, so that their soul is actually giving them clear awareness of who they are from the soul perspective. The soul is forming their system. That's where the soul formed comes from, so that they can be more authentically themselves into the world. So all of their systems and structures that they're currently in, they just feel a great level of self-acceptance and a great level of personal freedom to be the truth of who they are. And there's no shame around that. And that year-long program usually starts with the soul language ID session. So that is a one-on-one session where I, with their permission, make a soul-to-soul connection and identify the 3 core energies of their soul, which become their soul languages, their soul's axiom of quest, which is the soul's purpose, the soul language axiom of translation, which is how we fulfill that purpose, and the soul language tone, which is the soulful personality. So with those 3 energies that are our soul, we see how we're consciously and unconsciously experiencing life. It gives us a bit of a navigation tools going forward of how we can be into life. So that is a one-on-one, approximately 2-hour Zoom call that we go through, and they get a recording of that and the PDF of that. And then, I really like to, if they like to, go forward into that year-long program with them and really help them have that deeper connection. So yes, these are the three core ways. And then of course there's soul coaching that is a possibility. There's other one-on-ones if they just want to do a little bit of cleanup work or want to have a little intuitive dive with me, with themselves, that's also available. So those are generally the ways that we work forward. And then of course there's the Wednesday night, which is coming up as our share here.
Yes. So before we get there, so a great way to get introduced to the energies is your offering of cleaning your cash consciousness, which is monthly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's not an obligation to come every month. You just contribute.
Yeah.
Come.
That's right. That's right. It's a $27 and you get that month. It's everyone. I transmit the same transmissions, but they never come out the same twice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, it's kind of like if you're gonna cook a roast, every time you cook a roast, it's going to be a different roast and it's going to come out a different way, right? It's going to have, just even though you might be using the same seasonings, the same temperature, the same oven, each time it's going to be just a little bit different. This is how we experience transmission, even though I'm transmitting same frequency, because we're constantly in evolution every time, and I'm constantly in evolution. Every time that it comes out, it's a different experience. So yes, those are one-offs. They're $27 investment, and they really have helped a lot of people to open up and get a freedom around money, ease with money that they've never had.
Yeah. And
yes.
Everybody, well, I don't want to say everybody wants more money, but come on now, everybody wants more money, right? That means you have a better life. Well, whatever. But it's so crazy how intertwined our relationship with money is to our relationship with the rest of life, including ourselves. I mean, you might think you're just getting these transmissions and coming to this offering to work on the dollar bill, but it's so much more than that.
So much more. I'll tell you, it's your nervous system, it's your health, and into the transmission. So we're focusing money, but it's really clearing out anything that's gripping the nervous system from that personal freedom to be your soul aligned self, to have that soulful expression. So money is just one of the very common aspects. We're all doing money. We develop that relationship about 2 years old. As soon as we understand money and see money changing in the world, we actually create our core energy around money. And yeah, there's a lot of experience. I say it's our longest relationship, or it's our most consistent relationship of our life, because it's there practically every day since 2 years old. Our parents are there, but not every day since 2. Our spouse,
right?
Not every day, right?
Right.
Everything else, they're there. And not that I value money more than I value humans. That is not at all the truth. However, that relationship is a core relationship.
Absolutely.
And it's a core relationship with yourself, and it can affect every one of those other relationships. And it can actually benefit every one of those relationships to clean that cash consciousness, to release the energies around money. And that too can be ancestral. So you could have inherited, if poverty was in the family line, if starvation was in the family line, if pious attitude was in the family line, that very much could be interfering with, your money relationship today. So
Absolutely.
it gets to clean this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And not only in the family line, but verbalized, right? So
yes,
we don't even have to imagine it was there. We were told certain things.
that's right. Yeah.
And I want to touch on the soul language identification sessions because they are fascinating. And I know that the one you talked about was your personal soul language identification.
Yes.
And there are other identifications that are also very enlightening. And I do want to just preface all this by saying when you have your soul language identification session, it's as if you're getting the base programming of you and what makes you tick and what lights you up and why you do what you do. And it actually is a huge step towards self acceptance. I just have to throw that
Yes.
out there. So,
Absolutely. That's usually where people will finally see themselves in a way that I'm a perfect stranger to most of those people I'm doing a soul language ID session with. Yeah,
right.
I will tell them very clearly who they've always been, both in the positive and in the negative. So I'll tell them the struggles they've had, as well as I'll tell them how all those struggles can go away through
Right.
their choice, their continued choice. And, we work on that in the session to work to clear out if there's still challenge and to open up to even more. I've had amazing things happen in soul language ID sessions. I never know how they're going to go because it's really each soul will bring to me what they want to get out of it. I've had whole business plans unfold in soul language ID sessions in a brief, of course. But this is because the soul knows, right? The soul has all of that information, and it really does become that first ultra acceptance of that is who I am, and that's who I've always been. And wow, I can know this about myself, and I can create even more with even more ease. So I am known for, the cruise control, grace and ease model, and getting real results. So yes, love the soul language ID sessions. And I also do sacred partnership with divine soul language ID sessions, which are those three core energies you have between your relationship and divinity. Yeah, sacred partnership with money, soul language ID, which are those three core energies of the money relationship, how to manifest money, how you particularly work with money, because we all have a very unique style with money. And just to give you a slight example is the risk level which will play with money. That is very much aware. Some people are more prone to wealth. Some people are more prone to being ordered and organized. So this all shows up in these sessions. There's sacred partnership with business, which are the three core energies you will operate your business with. And yes, there's even more. So that's just gives you a core. So yeah, I found so much value in my own soul language ID session and really seeing how I operate in my essence nature. And I fell in love with it. And anything that I pick up that works for me, I take it on full on and I bring it to my clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I had a soul language, two soul language identification sessions with you, and they were fabulous. So just putting that out
Yeah.
there. I can talk to
Yes.
it
Thank you.
through
Yes.
experience.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, okay. So, even, even less costly than your $27 per month clearing your cash consciousness, which is a bargain at any price. You have another special gift, which is a another level of support that is truly a gift. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes. So this actually started in March of 2020 when the world seemed to turn inside out and upside down and everything else. My soul woke me up in the middle of the night and said, Sonya, you've got to get out there and start doing this. You've got to support humanity with this transmission of the structure of one. So this every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on Zoom, I do a transmission of the structure of one. And what that is you in your wholeness before you had the physical form, before you had the gender, the parent, the teacher, the preacher, the society, the culture, before anything told you who you were, you were that whole essence, that structure of one. And in that transmission, so again, it's 8 to 9 o'clock Wednesday nights on Zoom, you get to start to experience you. And just a bit on the soul language. So I'm a peacemaker, teacher of integrity, passage inventor. So my soul is very gifted at bringing people into their wholeness and their peace very naturally. So the transmission, most people feel a level of peace that they have generally never felt as a result of being in that. And it is a free call. It is my gift to humanity to share. I do share ways to work forward with me there, but every Wednesday night, no obligation. Come receive your own essence, receive that deeper connection to your own soul. So yes, and to receive that, you go to soulformed, soulformed.com. Click on the first button that says, yes, I'm ready to shine from my soul, and put in your email, and you will receive an email reminding you every Wednesday with the Zoom information. So thank you for allowing me to share that, Kimberly.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, there are so many entry levels into learning how to be soul formed with you, Sonya, that, you know, everybody, there might be a different entry point. So we had to really highlight every possible one.
Thank you.
You
Yes.
are welcome. Well, thank you, Sonya. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. I know I have treasured all of your insights and wisdom, and I know that the audience has gotten some great information that they can take with them, including your the experience of how to do your first, if it is their first time, to perform a soul connection meditation. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me on this happiness retreat and allowing me to inspire your audience.
Oh, I'm sure you have. Thank you so much. And to everyone watching, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Happiness Retreat. We hope you have gotten some inspiration, some motivation, some guidance, and some clarity in your connection with your soul and becoming the master of your own energy. So, Sonya, thank you again. And until next time, everyone,